friends, and welcome to Binge O'Clock, the podcast where we watch something and then we talk about it. I'm Joy Selden, and I've seen almost everything.
I'm Danielle, and I've seen almost nothing.
I'm Nella, and if I ever become an invisible person, I'm just gonna spend all my time crafting. I'm just gonna steal craft supplies, no murder, nothing like that. I'm just gonna live my life and, maybe figure out how to airbrush. I don't know. Just a suggestion.
Just garden and craft.
Yes, garden and crafting for the rest of my days.
That sounds lovely.
Not murder.
I mean, I guess he didn't have hobbies, or he had hobbies.
Well, he grew up in a lab. Where does one find
We're getting
hobbies?
ahead of ourselves. Wait.
Where does one find hobbies when you grow up in a lab without a real name? I know,
but now you're out. Now you're out, and now you have the whole wild world, everything available to you. Like, you can, be watching people over, their shoulder for, their swear jar and, pin numbers. And, you could steal money and just live, your life alone. But, think of all the sweet, sweet crafting you can do.
Yeah.
And then you could just shoplift from Hobby Lobby because they deserve it.
Also true.
I'm just saying. All the movies you could sneak into and watch for free.
So really the worst thing that the massive dynamic experiments had on this person was they didn't teach him a hobby.
Right?
This is there's a movie called Demolition Man where a dude wakes up in 50 or something. And while he was asleep, while the criminal element was asleep, they programmed him with these hobbies of knitting out his frustration and things like that.
That's amazing.
And so he's I don't know, I have this yearn to knit. And watching Sylvester Stallone knitting a thing is weirdly transcendent. Just a big, muscly dude.
If you were keeping a kid in a lab, wouldn't you want them to have hobbies to keep them nice and quiet? Things to keep them engaged? That is kind of strange.
I certainly would.
Right?
I certainly would.
I mean, come on.
We've instantly gotten off track. Hi, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about Fringe Season 4, Episodes 5 through 7. These episodes were kind of intense, so we're going to kind of fly from episode to episode and try to take them in order, even though we just failed that miserably. We were talking about the last one, but that's okay.
We were very on topic, though. This was very on topic.
Fair. The first one, though, is our very first episode after Peter comes back into the world and is trying to figure out what the heck happened to him. Mm-hmm. And trying to contact the team and sort that out and understand what's going on. And I love Peter. I love Peter in this episode.
Yes.
It's just all about Peter for me. I just love that he's I know all your secrets, but I also am super smart. Maybe I can help you. Do you want me to help you? It seems like you want me to help you.
He is so good. He's so good at playing this game. And at the same time is actually going through quite a bit of emotional distress. You know, the moment where Walter sees him for the first time in the interrogation room and you see Peter turn to Walter and his face is in the light. And there's that briefest moment in our favorite optimist's hope where he thinks maybe Walter will see me and recognize me as his son. And then it just doesn't happen.
It just doesn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, Walter can barely look at him, which who can blame Walter for that, right?
Yeah. And I love that they gave them this really long, quiet moment.
Yeah.
Where they're both kind of, and like you said, Walter's kind of not looking at him, kind of looking at him, but this really awkward moment of this is, he already knows who Peter says he is. Mm-hmm. And Peter knows that Walter should recognize him, but is oh, God, Olivia didn't recognize me, and you're not going to recognize me.
And he lets it slip, he, toward the end of their conversation where he reaches out and grabs Walter's hands, which he realizes later is something he absolutely should not have done.
Yeah.
Yeah. He lost himself in the asking his father for help because his father doesn't know who he is.
Mm-hmm. Ugh,
and,
it's heartbreaking.
And it's so hard on both of them. I can't even fault Peter for, because Walter is the only person who can help him. Walter is the only one
whether or not Walter is his dad, right?
Yeah.
Scientifically, Walter's the only one who can help him, because in this universe, it's finally revealed that William Bell is actually dead. Nina is acting CEO of Massive Dynamic. So it really is, it's just Walter.
Do you think we got Bell-Livia in this universe? Did that happen?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I have no idea.
It's really hard to know what happened and what didn't happen. I mean, in this universe, our team doesn't even know who the observers are. Like, they never even identified them. And I'm like, wait. Let's go all the way back to Fringe Season 1, Episode 1. They noticed the observers before Peter got involved. Right? Yep. So, huh?
Well, look, there's a lot of hand-waving. Like...
This is also, but remember also, this is the time stream where Walter and Peter never met the observers,
right?
At Raiden Lake. So like maybe they haven't been as involved in this time stream because they haven't had to like steer so many things, you know, like. Okay, we need this exact thing to happen with these two machines in these two universes.
Yep.
And man, we're just gonna like cross our fingers and it worked. You know?
No, that's true. So maybe they have had that moment where they have pictures of bald men in fedoras throughout history, but have other than that nothing about these people.
Yeah. Maybe it's the oh, what's the word for it? Maybe they just assume they're the Men in Black of this universe, and it's like, well, whatever. You know, they show up. They show up, things happen, and then they go away.
We also, in this room, get the quote explanation for why Peter has been deleted from this universe, which is that his very existence was a paradox. Peter
and he was supposed to die.
Yep, in both universes. He was supposed to die in both universes. So now he's been deleted.
I love how easily he takes that.
Yeah.
I know. Who started the machine is still a mystery.
I was deleted because I was a paradox. Must be a Tuesday.
He takes it very well. It's really funny that he's just like, yeah, I mean, I get that. That makes sense.
That makes total sense. I mean, by this point, how many universes has Peter been in? Is this his fourth one? Because he has the original blue-green, right? He is the red universe. He's been there. He went to the gray universe, and now he's in the amber-yellow universe. This is his fourth universe.
Peter is unstoppable. He's the immutable point in time. Like, he cannot be shaken. Joshua Jackson cannot be shaken from the timeline. You just try. But yeah, they have this great conversation in the interrogation. I say great. I don't mean great. But like, I'm just glad that the two of them are in the same room talking. Mm-hmm. And like, it doesn't go well, as you said. Like, the end of the conversation really doesn't go well. Peter kind of overstepped a little bit because he was feeling vulnerable and he wanted to reach out to his dad. And that's not his dad, ostensibly. And, you know, then he kind of spends the rest of the episode like trolling Fringe division.
Yes.
Like he takes apart like intercom? He takes apart the intercom so he can hear what they're saying, and like he patched it through one of the phones, I guess, so he just turned on the speaker without anybody realizing it.
And then chimes into their conversation at exactly the right moment.
As if he was already in the conversation. Like, I don't know about you, but if somebody did that in my workplace, like, Broyle's face is perfect. I'm just like, you little brat.
Yes. Oh my God, it was just so perfect. Like, what a I'm not stuck in here with you, you're stuck in here with me moment for Peter.
Yes. That's exactly what it was. It was exactly that thing where it's like, look, I've told you things. I've proved who I am. Mm-hmm. I understand why you don't remember me. I accept all of it. You're still not letting me help you. And I can actually help you. Like, I get it. But like, use your resources.
That jaunty way he leans back on the interrogation table when he's telling them everything he knows about these memory disks. I mean,
right?
I know. I know. He's trying to prove, because at this point, and we'll see this through the arc of these 3 episodes, but at this point, he believes his job is to like jolt their memories or like try to find some way to be like, no, like this happened. I just need you guys to like remember that this happened. Right. Or like, he needs to he's trying to like wedge himself into this parallel universe.
Yeah. No, 100%. And he also uses this as his bargaining chip, right? Because this is what allows them to finally seal that deal where he says, listen, I have something that you need. And what I have is an in-depth knowledge of the shapeshifters and their memory disks. In exchange, let me work with Walter. Just help me, help me figure out what's going on with me. Which, to your point, at this moment in the episode is still, how do I correct everyone else's memories? Yeah. When does he finally decide that he needs to go home? Partway through episode 2, right? Or
I think it's partway through episode 6. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's towards the end of episode 6 where he's like, this is, he almost does that millennial thing. I'm like, this is too much work. Yeah. I need to, I think I need to not do this because it's like, it's also damaging. It's damaging to the people here. It's damaging to him. Like, it's emotionally exhausting. And it's heartbreaking time and time again to be like, but Olivia, like how, like, sure, like you dreamed about me. Okay, cool. So like, can we talk about that? Like what happened in your dream? Did you know me? Was there a park, like trying to get her to be like, oh yeah, we were together in my dream and it was weird.
Did you have any feelings as you looked at my face?
Yeah.
And so he decides that he would just like to not be there anymore. Yeah. These are not his people. These are not the friends and family who love him. The people who love him are somewhere else and he needs to get there.
Yeah. And I appreciate that it's, I think it's Broyles that he mentions this too, where he's just like, it's like, look, that I thought these were my people, but I don't think that's right. I think these are other people.
Yeah.
And now I need to find my way home. But before any of that happens, the show decides to bring the shapeshifters back.
I'm so tired of shapeshifters. I truly, truly am. Like, I was tired of them.
Even like the revved up shapeshifters, which are able to...
this annoys me even more. Oh no, now they're even harder to find. Oh no, they're indistinguishable from humans.
Mm-hmm. They don't bleed
anymore.
You can't even
bleed them. You can't even bleed them. At least before you could stick a finger.
Oh dear, whatever will we do? And also, it's just like, great, now who's the evil mastermind behind the human shifters? Great, I love it. I can't wait. Another human mastermind. Great. Boy. Sure.
Who is the human mastermind behind the shapeshifters? Do you think we're going to get to the bottom of that, Nella? Or will this just be a thread that Fringe drops?
Well, you see, it's hard to say. Because what? Like, season 5 was like half of a season or something? It wasn't a full season, right?
Yeah, season 5 is like 13-ish episodes.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Season 4 is a full season, though.
You see, like, since we're rehashing season 1 so hard,
especially in these 3 episodes.
Part of me feels like they're going to really try to allude to an evil mastermind, but I feel like the show's gonna close before we really get actual resolution about it. Or they're gonna rush the resolution really hard, and it's gonna be like, that's it? That's what you brought human shapeshifters in for? For this like sad fart of an ending? Are you kidding me? You killed Lincoln's partner for this?
Sad fart of an ending should be on like an album cover. Something. It should be the last track or like the hidden track of some like, hey, it should be on the bottom of every Stephen King novel.
I love that. It's a perfect way to describe how Fringe manages its different plot lines. Because listen, I love Fringe. I love Fringe so much, and I've seen it so many times, but they do have kind of an unsatisfactory way of quote, tying up loose ends.
Yeah.
No, their follow-through is severely lacking.
And, the reason I asked that question is because I literally don't remember whether these people come back. Like, it could be, it was Walternate all along. It could be the big bad from season 1. What was his name again?
Newton?
No, not that one. The other one. David Robert Jones.
David Robert Jones.
It could be him in this universe. Like, I really don't know. I've forgotten already. But anyway.
To be fair, I don't remember either.
Well, I can't wait to find out with the both of you. Because,
for the exact reason, as you said, Nella, is like, this is a thread that the show's writers return to, because isn't it cool to have these shapeshifter soldiers? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, it's a cool idea, but only if you do something with it.
Yeah,
exactly.
And they've touched up the soldiers themselves, right? They're super powered now and can hold on to and can switch between any of the identities they've absorbed instead of just the last one they've absorbed. And they've also redone the way the typewriters work.
I know.
Which, now they're kept in, like, a locker at a port authority, basically.
See, now I'm just like...
Suitcase typewriters.
And then you're just sitting out in public with a typewriter. I'm surprised nobody walked up to be like, oh, are you doing that, like, you'll write me a short story if I pay you thing? Like, I just... Why typewriters anymore? Like, make it, I don't know, like... Something else.
I miss the mirror, too. I actually really liked the mirror effect of you, typing in your typewriter and then looking in the mirror and seeing the other typewriter over there.
Effect. It was a good effect. It's just gone now. I don't know.
Yeah, the typewriter just goes on its own. Doop, doop, boop, 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 boop. Yeah, man, I miss the old typewriter, too. I miss, like, our friendly neighborhood guard dog who was just like, here's your key.
Right?
Hopefully that guy just actually got his happy ending, because now he's just not in this universe, Now they've cut out the middleman. They don't need him.
Now he's fine.
All you need
Wherever
is a
he is, I believe he's fine. I believe he's fine. Look, if they were going to kill him, they would have done it on screen, and they didn't do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, the parts of this episode that I found interesting weren't the actual narrative or of the episode or the actual mystery of the episode, but I think there were interesting moments, like we discussed Peter and Walter's conversation up at the top of the episode, where we find out that they don't know about the observers in this universe and little things like that. But I thought another interesting difference between the two universes is who says that line about some things are not ours to tamper with.
Right.
Because
which I assume was William Bell.
Yes.
Like,
in this episode,
me with a spoon. William Bell with moral quandaries?
Right. In this universe, William Bell is dead and was shutting down scientific experiments because, quote, some things are not ours to tamper with, some things are God's. And I'm like, whoa, this is a completely different William Bell.
Yeah.
Completely different
William
Bell.
Look, we're still experimenting on kids, but like, okay, cool.
But that was only 3 days, Nella. And then all the effects just went away. You can't blame us for that. So Olivia blew up one lab. It was one lab.
What?
I have hundreds.
And now she has, like, permanent migraines and has to be on medication for the rest of her life?
Well,
like, I've got questions about that.
No. So the migraines are not from the cortexiphan trials.
Okay.
The migraines are from what Nina is continuing to do to her.
Oh, yeah. Which, by the way, Nina.
Ooh, acting CEO of Massive Dynamic in this universe. We also find out why Walter's so mad at her, which I'm glad they actually paused and talked about that.
I actually kind of forgot. Why is Walter mad at her?
He's mad at her because
I must have gone to get popcorn at the time or something.
That scene on the lake where she shows up and tries to stop him, and as she grabs him going through the door, that's when the vial breaks.
Yeah.
Right.
He blames her for breaking the vial.
Because then he had to bring Peter back with him, and then Peter died. Like,
yes, on the way back.
Yeah. So he talks about how, like, for the last so many years, I blamed you because I didn't want to blame myself. Which, I mean, glad we had this conversation.
100%. But yeah, they do some interesting things with Nina's character in these few episodes because they unpack that for us so that we understand Nina and Walter a little bit better. And then they also explain why Olivia and Nina are so close.
Yeah. Which ends in betrayal.
Which ends in betrayal.
That's the thing.
So, I know. I love warm Nina. Like, I love warm Auntie Nina. You know? I think she's my favorite Nina of all the Ninas we've seen. But man, does she still have her secrets. And they're not great.
And they're not
It's not great, Bob.
How irritating that they, the writers, choose to give Olivia, like, a quote, loving family member, right? Like a family member that she's actually close with and continues to maintain a relationship with. Because I guess her sister and Ella are just out of the picture now. Where'd they go? And then they have this person that Olivia loves betray her. This show just won't stop. They will not stop.
They will not stop hurting our girl. How dare they?
I know. And I feel it in my bones that, like, she's, you know, she even struggles with that in these episodes. Like, Olivia has this moment where she's like, was I emotionally stunted by the cortexiphan trials? Like, I feel like something's missing. Like, I feel like wherever I should have been, it should have clicked by now. And maybe it's because I keep so many people at arm's length kind of thing. Because, you know, she's not thinking about Peter, though we wish she was. She's thinking about Link, and she's trying to understand, like, she's trying to make this connection with Link. But there's some, like, it's not working.
Yeah. Or it's like she doesn't know how to bridge that gap. You know, how do you make friends? Which, listen, Olivia, we've all been there. Making friends as an adult is awkward.
Awkward as heck. All the awkward. Every awkward. All the awkward days.
Have you tried joining a role-playing game is all I'm saying. You know?
But yes, no, finish your thing. Finish your pitch. You know, actually, I think I want to hear your pitch.
Build your character. It could be anyone you want. Get a little out of your comfort zone. You know, you get some pizza. You get some beers. You know, it could be like the local nerd group. They don't know anything about you. You could just be like the older girl who's like, look, I'm in my 30s. I'm really lonely. I could just really go for this. Like, I just want to. But then again, like, what would Olivia play? And I really feel like Olivia would, like, start with probably, like, I feel like she'd start with, like, a druid or something. Maybe a ranger, you know? I don't see Olivia being like, I'm going to get all my frustrations out by playing a smashy smash barbarian.
Oh, no, I don't think so
see
either.
that. She has to, like,
Not
work out.
this Olivia.
She has to work out her inability to connect. No, you know what? I bet she plays like a tiefling or a changeling or something. And then she's just like working out her, I'm not able to connect to people because I'm a monster thing. Like, but at like the role playing table, and everyone's like, you know, that was a really great scene you played with Nigel. Like, we were like really feeling it. Like, wherever that came from, that was great. Thank you so much. Like,
see, this is another missed opportunity for either Sam Weiss or Astrid.
Yes.
I would 100% believe.
We know that Sam Weiss likes board games, at least, even if he's not into role-playing. Mm-hmm. Would I be upset if Sam Weiss existed in this universe and played board games with Olivia?
Oh my God, no, instead of a bowling alley, he runs the like
board game cafe.
The board game
local
cafe.
Board game cafe.
And he does like D&D one-shots and like and he does like dungeon delves, and he's just like, "Oh, you're back."
That's the Sam Weiss that this show needs. I 100% agree with you. I'd be totally fine with him as that character. And actually, you know, not in a romantic way, but they had good chemistry. You know, their conversations had a flow to them. I don't know. I feel like poor Olivia just needs a friend. And maybe
precisely.
And maybe a friend, like she needs a friend who doesn't have a crush on her.
Yes, this 100%.
Like an actual
every
friend.
Olivia across all time streams.
Yes,
needs a friend who doesn't have a crush on her. Every single Olivia, all of them, all Olivias in all the worlds, in all the universes, all Olivia Dunhams.
Needs
every single Olivia Dunn needs this.
I know. And I don't say that in an I hate Lincoln, what's he doing way, because I think that thus far this Lincoln really is 100% innocent.
Yes. No,
you know?
I thoroughly look, I'm with Peter on this. Like, and that's why I really also enjoy Peter the sad wingman, because it's just like, it's not my Olivia. So like, I don't know, like, good luck, kid.
Yeah. I do like
just
that
be
Lincoln,
yourself,
like,
buddy.
gently checks in with him to be like, so y'all were together, right?
You
Gets
guys
the
were
green
close.
light. Yeah. Because, you know, you don't want to make the workplace awkward.
No, because
right?
Lincoln cares and Lincoln notices. And, like, he doesn't want to get in the, you know, he doesn't want to mess something up. But, like, I just love that Peter is just like, look, it's just, she's not my Olivia, you know, and I'm trying to get back to mine.
And then buys Lincoln new glasses.
I know.
I do appreciate that both Olivia and Lincoln sort of realized this at the same time, which also shows how weirdly simpatico they are in this Amber universe.
Yeah.
Like, Olivia was also like, sometimes when you think I'm not noticing, like, I notice the way you look at me. Like, I was really special to you. Like, Olivia was really special to you, right? And he's like, yeah, but, like, don't worry. I know you're not her. You know, like, he's not going to make the same mistake he made before.
Yeah.
Which wasn't even really a mistake. But it's fine.
But it's fine.
Peter.
He's learned his lesson, and he's applying the lessons he's learned to his daily life. I also appreciate, on the other side of that Peter didn't bring that up first. I like that she brought it up first. Because it would have been so easy for him to, like, grab her by the shoulders and be like, listen, in this other universe, in 3 other universes, we found each other and we fell in love, and I know that you are the one. Like, it would have been so easy for him to do that. He was like, you know what? No, we're going to do this on her terms.
No, I mean, well done the writers for having at least that level of self-restraint. Thank God.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, I mean, Peter also isn't. I mean, that's not exactly true. I was going to say Peter isn't that person. Like, I feel like Walter would be that person. Like, if Walter had disappeared from this reality, he would have showed up and, like, shook Peter and been like, but I'm your father, you know?
Yes,
and
100%.
Like, and Peter would have been like, I have no idea who you are, dude. Please put me down. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's just not, it's not Peter's style to insist, I think. But I do appreciate that he wasn't pushy with it. And it wasn't like somebody owed him something.
Yes.
Like, he completely understands the nature of this scenario because he lived it.
Yes.
He's kind of been there before.
Been there, done that. All I got was this lousy t-shirt. Like,
he gets it. I also appreciate that he doesn't lie about it. He's not like, oh no, it wasn't like that. Or like, you know, we weren't together, or like blah, blah, blah. Like, he doesn't try to dismiss anything that he's lived through. Yeah. It's more like, but I know that I lived through that, and I know that you didn't. So, like, I get it.
Yeah.
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 Sending him the glasses was so cute.
The glasses.
I know.
Like, oh no.
I'm just.
Oh no.
I mean, listen, I know it's a little tropey, like, girl takes on, puts off glasses, whatever, and suddenly she's a different person, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it, because it's Lincoln.
I know. It's our good boy.
Yeah.
It's our good boy.
I mean, speaking of Peter and not Peter, speaking of Olivia and Lincoln being oddly simpatico, I also enjoy that the versions of them in the Amber universe are just like the softer, fluffier versions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're just like,
they're
just gee whiz.
Oh. I know. Well, okay, Lincoln for sure, right? Like, Lincoln is kind of like a puppy in this universe. He's very willing to learn. He's very, like, here to cheer on the team. But he also, like, keeps some things to himself, right? Like, he's not overly, you know, like, he's willing to go with whatever is actually going on, but he's not overly sharing. Exactly. He also has some things to keep for himself. And I do think Olivia is, like, I don't know, man. Olivia's really complicated in this universe.
She is.
She has a lot going on. And look, Olivia always has a lot going on, but this is different.
Yeah.
It just feels like she has, it feels like she does still have this like weight on her shoulders, but she doesn't understand why.
Oh yeah, because she's like,
I mean?
It's like she's a muted version of herself, but she kept all of her hard edges.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is all hard edge all the time. No rest for the weary. But yeah, man, those migraines. Although I did think it was really cute when Lincoln opened up the bottle for her and was just she's like,
me
I
too.
could do it.
I know, but you don't have to. So
really
good.
Super cute.
Yeah, this show completely sold me on these two.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
They did. But I've never been that person who's mad at someone just because they break up the OTP. You know, and as Peter said, this isn't really his Olivia, so different situation. Yeah. Now, of course, the parallel to that entire mess in these episodes is the electrical engineer and his, what was her job again? Theoretical physicist?
Physicist wife.
Possibly?
Physicist professor. Yeah, a professor of theoretical physics. That's it.
Okay. Who has experienced early onset Alzheimer's, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the time loop, and has basically created a time loop so that she can finish her own theories about creating time chambers, which is something where like an area, a set area that's designated can just exist in a previous time.
Right. So inside the time bubble is 2007. Yes. And outside the time bubble, it is 2011.
And it's so fascinating, and it's, there's a lot in this episode that I like, and there's a lot that I'm like, all right. But like, it's, it's mostly weird and interesting to me. And like, I don't know, I feel for him, I feel for a dude who's like, I didn't appreciate everything you did for me, and I feel like I squandered my time with you. And especially with her early onset Alzheimer's, it's so hard to be able to, it's not a slow thing. Like a lot of times it just comes and it hits like a freight train, and all of a sudden the person you're married to is completely different.
No, you're right. Like it's hard not to be sympathetic towards this person because Alzheimer's can be such a devastating disease.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And, but like the obvious parallel this show is drawing is that this man refuses to let go of his wife, even though the woman in front of him is really not his wife anymore. And I don't mean the woman who's gone through early onset Alzheimer's. I mean the woman who lives in the time bubble. The woman who lives in the time loop. Because he's, quote, buying more time with her. But every time they go through the loop, he's just living the same conversations over and over again. Yeah. She asks him about his heart medicine. And then she asks him, did he make the appointment at the dentist? Like, it's not real. It's just... Yeah. I don't know.
It's continuing the same day to somehow give them more time so she can finish her equation. Mm-hmm. And I don't exactly know how that works because I'm sitting here going, so she must have finished her equation in 2007 and maybe he wasn't paying attention, and then she destroyed the equation because this is also a woman, once we, cut through the layers of plot, who is finally talking to her husband. It's just like, no, but there are repercussions, and I knew there would be repercussions. This was just a fun thing to try on a napkin.
Yeah, this was a thought exercise.
Yeah, this was a thought exercise. No one ever should have done this.
Yeah.
This should not have been put into practice. And she knew that, but she obviously never shared this with him or anything like that, because otherwise, or she would say it and maybe he just checked out because that's who he was in 2007. You know, like, my wife's super smart and she's talking about something I don't underd, but that's
He wasn't
okay.
the most attentive husband, yeah. No, I thought about that too, because it's weird, like, the idea that every time they go through the loop, she could continue the equation doesn't make any sense. Because at the beginning of that loop, she would sit down and go, whoa, this isn't the equation that I was creating. Like, oh, wait, this isn't where I left off in my work. You know, there would be some cognitive dissonance there. So, kind of strange.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure there are some plot holes with people who know more about theoretical physics. I'm not that person. That's not me, listeners. That's not me, friends.
Yeah. But at any rate, I think the other reason I am sympathetic towards this man is because he didn't actively choose murder. He was just ignorant of the repercussions of his actions. So he didn't know that this would cause, you know, a giant bubble of water to erupt in a tunnel in the middle of, where were they? Boston? I don't even know.
We'll say Boston. It was, you know, travel in this show is also very strange.
Fair.
There's a lot of like, we're just going to go to Pennsylvania in like an hour.
An hour.
That's how that works.
Can we discuss the scene where the giant bubble of water is forming in the underground tunnel and people are standing not 4 feet away from it, just watching it grow?
I know.
And videotaping it.
It felt very prescient. I just have to say, just like, yeah, 100%. I 100% believe that it was just like, whoa. And then everybody took out their phones to film.
Like, you're in an underground tunnel. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Lincoln was watching it. Lincoln was just standing there and filming it. Ridiculous. Run the other way.
I know. It wasn't until it started expanding that all of a sudden everybody was like, I guess we got a GTFO. Come on.
I guess we should run. You know, if you had started running earlier, you would have been out of the tunnel already.
I mean, look, there's cognitive dissonance, but like, because you're just like, wait, so there's water in the tunnel, but it's like in a bubble. What? But like, that scene dragged on for a very long time.
Very long.
It was a lot. It was a lot. Anyway, it was a lot. Although I still don't understand where the cars went that were before the bubble, because Lord knows there would have been, like, there was traffic. So like, where are the cars before the bubble? Also, these time bubbles like break down matter when they happen. So like, you know, like the car bumper that like disintegrated in Peter's hands. So I'm like, so this tunnel should have been just awful. Like, there should have been cracks in the wall. Like, you should have started running way earlier.
That's an interesting point. I forgot about that. Although there wasn't anything that degraded in the apartment that was burnt. But maybe they just didn't notice because everything was gone.
Maybe everything was like too much fire.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they just didn't notice. Or the teens were really, really, really close to the bubble? Question mark?
And, like it was like a feedback.
Got stuck in the... Honestly,
neutron,
you know what? Doesn't matter, listeners. Doesn't matter.
Again,
Fringe
not
science.
Not a theoretical physicist. Hashtag not a theoretical physicist.
The point is, bubbles are popping up everywhere. It's the golden spiral that we...
Fibonacci's golden spiral.
Snails, as Walter says.
Snails and ram's horns.
And well, you know what? The other thing that's going on in this episode, because I think we already wrapped up the end of this episode at the beginning of this podcast episode. The other thing that's happening in this episode is that Walter is just continuing to be really, 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 really stubborn.
Yes.
About working with Peter.
Is this the episode where he says something like the subject appears to be, and like,
yes.
And okay. There's a whole scene where Broyles is like, you have to examine Peter Bishop. You have to we have to rule out if he is a part of this, if he's not a part of this. He is a fringe event and we need to know what's going on. And Peter house. And Walter's like measuring things and like scanning him. And Peter's just like, just talk to me. Would you just talk? Can't you talk? Oh, and he's gone.
Well, I kind of love the way that scene was shot too, because it goes directly from Broyles just laying down the law. Your job is to investigate Fringe events, and as far as I'm concerned, he is a Fringe event, to Peter standing in a room, and then Walter's face pops up behind Peter's shoulder, and he just has like the biggest Muppet frown.
I know. Yep.
It's so good.
I love it too. I love everything about that scene, including the like, and by the end of it, he's just like, Walter gives this exasperated, I have concluded that Peter Bishop has nothing to do with this event and therefore should be like, brought back to a cell or whatever, and like walks away. And Peter's like, you can't possibly know that by just that you didn't do anything, and like tries to chase him down,
Yeah.
And it like Walter, I'm sure knows that, but is like, Walter just goes to his bedroom, which is literally another part of the lab. And then poor Peter is just like, oh no, he lives here.
He lives here. My Walter. This Walter is so damaged. Yeah. And then, literally shuts himself in his bedroom like a child having a tantrum. He refuses to work in the lab while Peter is in the lab.
Mm-hmm. And then Peter is just like, all right, fine, I'll do it myself, and starts trying to understand the anomalies all by himself, which, you know what, Peter, good for you.
Good for you.
Make yourself useful. I also loved the Faraday cage moment. It was like, I know what a Faraday cage is.
Peter got the idea first. Walter's so bitter.
And then at the end of it, he's like, it was a good idea.
Walter would like this to be when Walter specifically tells Astrid to tell everyone that the Faraday cage is called the Walter Bishop Faraday harness.
Yes.
Of course. But like, I'm also, can I just say, so the gist of this portable Faraday cage is you put on this harness, and then you have to like insert these needles into the base of your spine. And of course, Peter has a great, of course. Like, of course but the thing is, like,
of course I do.
And Joy's like, this is the thing that gets you angry. Astrid doesn't like clean the area. She doesn't prep it. There's no like alcohol wipes. There's no iodine. She just stabs him with the thing.
And listeners,
and like, look, we can pretend like Walter would be like, oh, to hell with this guy,
subject.
And would do it. The sub. But Astrid, you should know better.
And not that it makes a huge difference, but we're not talking a single needle. This was literally like a square metal panel that had needles sticking out of it.
Ugh.
Yeah,
like a bristle brush.
If listeners have been with us since season 1 and remember the thing that went into Olivia's neck in like episode 1, season 1, it was essentially that, and it was just like wham, right in the base of the neck.
Oh boy,
right there. That last one was LSD. Yeah, that episode, like just right into the back of her neck, right there.
Yep.
I don't even know if they sanitized Olivia's neck.
No, I think
now that I think
this
about
is
it.
a long running issue where I guess germs don't exist. Like flesh-eating bacteria is not a problem.
Yeah.
Except we had the quarantine pandemic episode.
We did.
Thing, where it was a virus or whatever.
What if you kept
so
being
mad.
sanitary?
Listeners, she's so mad.
This reminds me of your rant. This reminds me of your rant about them performing autopsies or open heart surgeries in their open air lab when a cow is not 3 feet away.
Yes.
That's exactly what this is.
That's how this feels.
This is unsanitary.
Mm-hmm.
The Faraday cage is also a bit of a joke because it's literally like a climbing harness with some copper wire on.
Yeah, I don't really understand.
And these needles that go in the back of the neck. It's weird. It's weird. It's not really a cage. It's fine.
Did we get a cool scene with Peter threatening a middle-aged couple with a baseball bat? Yes. Does the Faraday cage harness make sense? No.
Not very much. I feel bad for that FBI agent or whatever that just walked into that, man.
I know. Who just disintegrated.
It
looked painful, even though I don't understand why it was painful. I feel like he should have just poofed, you know?
Yeah. We did also get in this episode the first time that we get to see tech from the other universe try to be used to see if there's a tear in ours. With little spray stuff that Astrid has. Yeah. I like that. Like, I like that it's like, well, we're trying to work with the other universe. And meanwhile, like, Walter's in the lab with like 100-page manual that doesn't really tell you anything. And Astrid's like, I don't know if I'm using this right. Shh. Yeah, I don't see anything. Well, then I guess it wasn't a tear in the universe. Thanks, manual that was like overly explainy.
I do think the show is going to get back into the other universe soon because, it's been a while since we've seen the folks over there. How are they doing,
Yeah, I think we get that in the next episode, actually.
How's AU Lincoln going to feel when he meets his Lincoln? I feel like he's not... I don't remember how that interaction goes.
Faux Olivia has seen alternate Lincoln.
Yes, she has.
Briefly.
But the two Lincolns haven't seen each other.
The two Lincolns have not seen each other. I do wonder how that conversation went, though. Like, Lincoln was like, hey, Olivia comes back and it's like, guess who I met?
You want to hear all about how different he is?
Ridiculous jock. We got the last episode, which is Wallflower, which, if you were here from the beginning, was our rant about the Invisible Man episode. It's the Invisible Man episode, except he chose murder.
Of course he chose murder.
Well, I mean, the Invisible Man fundamentally also, chooses murder. He's kind of a horror staple.
Well, you're not wrong. Okay, fair.
So, I mean, I'm not surprised that the Invisible Man chooses murder. Like everyone else does in the Fringe universe.
Right. Everyone except for Raymond, who now just has homework.
I guess, yeah.
Okay. Well, here's what I also didn't like. Not only did he choose murder, the show has yet again decided to try really, 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 really hard to make us sympathize with the murderer.
Yes.
Like, poor Eugene. He never had a real name. No one ever cared for him. He's never experienced love.
There's this sad music when he's like talking to Olivia.
Yes.
And he's just like, but you've been seen for your entire life. And that must mean what it's like to be seen. And I know it's awful, but all I could think of was like, I don't know, she's a woman in America. She's only really seen by so many people.
She's a woman who was abused by her stepfather, experimented on as a child, and is now an FBI agent in a department that doesn't exist. Sir, how many people do you think see Olivia?
Right?
For who she is. Very few, if not zero.
Very, very few. I didn't like that they tried to force this kind of sympathy. This felt more heavy-handed in this episode, I think, than we've seen in the past.
Agreed.
Like, this was a lot of, like, we're going to tell you why you should feel bad for this person. And I guess that's also part and parcel with the fact that, like, nobody can see him and he's not talking to, you know what I mean? Like, he gets one scene. He gets one scene where he chats in the episode,
Right, but they give him a whole speech. All I want is to see kindness and happiness and recognition in someone else's eyes. Ugh, whatever, man.
And it's just hated it. And it's just like, and then afterwards, before he dies, when he has that scene in the elevator with the woman who turns out did notice him whenever he'd walk onto the elevator with just enough time to be visible, every morning wait for that elevator for her to be there. And it's just like, what a sweet scene that would be if we didn't also know that he sneaks into her apartment naked and puts things on her bed. Like, it's freaky. It's
and
like
rifles through her belongings.
If it wasn't for the fact he literally killed himself through his experimentation, he would have gone full Phantom of the Opera on her.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and that creepy little murder lab where he has those lockers full of items he's pilfered from people in the building.
I mean, it's one thing to steal people's, like, melanin. You know, fine, okay, you're a vampire, whatever. Like, with your weird octopus suckers, I guess, because they spliced you with other animals. But, like, dude, don't sneak into women's apartments naked.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't.
And then watch them unwind at the end of the day.
Oh God, right? And you know that's not the first time he's done it, and you know he's stuck around.
Yeah, I don't think that he politely averted his eyes for anything.
No. So, like, no, I have no sympathy for this devil. Good riddance.
Yeah. He doesn't get a happy ending, and we're okay with that.
Yep, I can live with that.
It was such a heavy hand to try and feel for this guy, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, no, like, should I feel bad that you were kidnapped as a baby 22 years ago and treated like your name is literally Eugene, like, as in, like, your genome?
The letter U.
The letter U and gene.
Yes, it's short for unidentified genetic disorder.
It's just bad. They try so hard. They try so hard to be like, isn't this monstrous? Like, how we make monsters by being monstrous ourselves. And I'm like, I don't know, man. He's kind of awful. It's like whenever you see those serial killers and it's like, well, their mothers were abusive. And I'm like, yeah, but did he have to, like, eat people?
A lot of people's mothers are abusive. We don't all choose
murder. A lot
of
people's mothers are abusive, and yet they don't turn to cannibalism.
The percentage of, like, abusive mother to serial killer is way smaller than everyone thinks. Of the population. I hate it. I mean, like, look, we hated this in Almost Human. We hate it here. Like,
so
why?
True. As you said, cool motive, still murder.
Cool motive, still murder. Like, nope. Again, where is his hobby? Why didn't someone teach him a hobby? I did like how quick Nina was with this information, because that's, like, the first time that's happened in all 4 seasons of Fringe from everything we've seen so far. Like, Nina was because of her relationship with Olivia, and it was just like, oh, yeah, this is who he is. This is what happened. And then it was kind of like, you seem kind of Johnny on the spot with that information. Like, what gives? And it's like, oh, well, I wouldn't know about this except, this happened with the lab 10 years ago. And I remember it because it was so horrifying and we shut it down immediately. Like, we didn't want this to be happening. We didn't sanction this. This was a lab doing this all by themselves.
Right.
And I'm like,
the lab, there was a freak accident in the lab and the entire thing burnt down, and they assumed that all the subjects died, which my brain is like, so Eugene started that fire, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So Eugene started that fire,
or maybe
and that's
one
how
of the
he
other
escaped,
patients,
right?
or whatever.
And a part of me is just like, you have an invisible kid. Hear me out. So he's invisible, right? I feel like invisible skin still burns and carbonizes and would no longer be invisible.
That's so true, because Nina's like, and for obvious reasons, there was no way for us to determine whether he actually died. And I'm like, what do you mean?
You get a line of people and a poking stick for each person, and if you hit something that shouldn't be there, congratulations, you found the dead invisible kid. And if you don't find the dead invisible kid, maybe you've got bigger problems.
Nina just needs to learn how to clean up her messes.
I know. Well, that's
she has so many of them.
Look, you had a perfectly good basement. You should have been looking for a new addition to the basement.
Yep. 100%.
Well, like, as a scientist, wouldn't you think they would want to recover that body anyway? Because now it's a body.
Yeah.
Right? Like, now it's a body.
Or
and
come back to the lab in 3 days and be like, what's that smell? Like, and then, like, take the cadaver dogs to it. I just don't give me, Nina. Don't give me this, Nina. This is nonsense.
Yeah, you're right. I think this is probably Nina just putting her hand over her eyes like this. If I don't see it, then it can't see me.
We'll tell no one about
my problem. Now, the button on this episode is what we referenced earlier with the glasses and Nina, but tying it all together, our dear Olivia kind of sort of asks Lincoln out. Because neither of them can sleep. They're suffering from terrible insomnia. Olivia's getting these migraines. Lincoln is in a new city and his partner is dead, and is finding out for the first time that the universe isn't the place that he understood it to be. So
like monsters exist.
Yes, exactly. So they connect in the diner at 3 a.m. And so at the end of this episode, Olivia says to Lincoln, if you happen to find yourself in the diner tonight at 3 a.m, maybe I'll see you there. So Lincoln shows up at the diner like bushy-tailed with his brand new Thanks Peter glasses. Olivia's trying to decide whether she should wear her hair up or down because this is a date. Mm-hmm. And then someone fills her apartment with gas, knocks her out, injects her with something, and she never makes it to the date.
Never makes it to the date under the advisement of Nina.
Yep. So that's what's giving her the headaches. And Nina has betrayed her, and also her date was ruined.
When there was that Nina review, now watch, it was Nina. Nina's the one who's with the evil human skin changers.
True. Who are they talking to? Someone in the other universe? Where's the other universe's Nina?
Yeah. Watch it. This is the other universe's Nina.
Dun 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 dun.
Dun. She's killed her alt self and taken her place.
There can only be one.
Nina's the shapeshifter. The head honcho shapeshifter.
These are beautiful theories, and I can't wait to find out which one is correct.
Truly.
Now I think we're at one more things.
Now we are. We are truly at one more things.
Actually, since we're already kind of on the topic of Nina, my one more thing is technically her like chic camo army print dress that we first see her in. Yes. I forget if it's episodes like 6 or 7, but like that's the first time we see Nina in these 3 episodes, and I'm like, is that camo? It's like different shades of black camo, but like chic camo. Army.
Chic, like army chic.
Army chic. It was fascinating to me, and I enjoyed it very much.
Okay, my one more thing is, I have 2 one more things, because they're quick.
That's fine.
Okay. My first one more thing is very in keeping with my brand, which is that I am upset that while the Invisible Man was in Julie's apartment watching her unwind over a glass of wine, she was looking for her cat Ziggy, and we never got to see Ziggy.
I am assuming that because they didn't show us that Ziggy was horribly killed, Ziggy was hiding. Too. I think Ziggy was hiding in the back of the closet because this weird fucking dude was like walking around his apartment, and cats can see UV, and I'm sure Ziggy could see that guy. And was just like, you're not my human. You don't belong here. I am not that kind of cat, and I'm going to hide until you go away.
Listen, I'm going to believe that that's true because I want it to be true. Ziggy dead.
No. You know what? Because no woman would get on an elevator the next day and not be an uncontrollable sobbing mess if she found her cat dead.
And her apartment was broken into. Her apartment was broken into, and her cat was dead. You're right. She was on
that elevator the next day like it was no big thing. So the cat's alive. 100%.
Okay, all right. My second very quick one more thing is that Peter has an FBI escort. His name is Tim.
I love Tim.
Tim would like you. Tim would like Peter to treat him as a friend.
I love Tim. I hope nothing happens to Tim.
We're trying to limit your interaction with civilians.
It's nothing personal.
Nothing personal.
Tim.
I love Tim.
I love Tim.
Tim's great.
Tim just feels like that. This is I'm my 3rd week on the job, and I'm just really trying not to piss off, Broyles. I need you to follow the rules. No waves, none.
No waves here.
No waves, but also you're not getting away on my watch.
Yeah, exactly.
I think my one more thing is I'm so proud that there is now an agency shrink and Astrid goes to the agency shrink.
Yes.
It only took 4 seasons.
We did it, everyone.
How are you so well-adjusted? Why are you the only well-adjusted person on this show? Well, I see the agency therapist, don't you?
Yes. I loved that. I loved that so much. Finally. We came up from the bottom now. Look at us now. We have a shrink. An in-house shrink.
Amazing. Amazing. And even more amazing because the amount of things that they haven't encountered and like the amount of things that Astrid doesn't know is like, now she's probably going to that shrink and being like, we have some stuff to talk about.
Stuff to discuss.
I would like a double session, please, because this is going to be a long one.
Remind me, what's your clearance level? All right, let me just fill out the form. Broyles is going to have to increase that just a scooch. All right, here we go.
But yes, I'm very happy they have a therapist as well. We are team therapist. Team therapist all the way.
Agreed.
All right, listeners, that feels like a pretty good spot to leave you.
I concur.
So between now and next time, we would love to hear from you. Please check us out at Binge O'Clock Pod on Twitter and Facebook, where you can tell us it's 3 a.m. and you can't sleep. What is your favorite insomnia meal? You can also email us at bingeoclockpod@gmail.com. And don't forget, we have a Patreon. Find us at patreon.com/BachPod.
That's right. And tell your friends, tell your family, tell your loved ones, tell the live lobsters in your life about Binge O'Clock, and we will see you next time. I almost said Fringe o'clock.
Oh. I mean,
love it.
Oh no.
Look, I keep my my insomnia snacking really simple. I just like giving myself a nice grilled cheese.
Oh, that sounds delightful.
You know,
grilled
just
cheese is a good
good
option.
grilled cheese.
I like eggs.
Yeah,
like to make
eggs are also a good one.
Eggs insomnia meal.
Maybe I'll make myself a soft-boiled egg right now. Ooh. Yeah. And little soldiers.
There it is.
Buttered soldiers. Yes.
There it is. There's the button. Ooh. And then we fade out.